Hey everyone, welcome back to Life in Between the Lines. I'm your host, Allison Vaughn. Long time no see. It actually has not been that long, but it feels so long. I feel so out of the routine, so out of this. Just because last week, was it last week? Thanksgiving? I guess it. Whoa. No. It was 2 weeks ago. Okay, Thanksgiving was 2 weeks. I was home for like 11 days, which is so long. Like, I'm just going to round up. I was home for 2 weeks. Whew, that was tough. That was very tough for me to be home. And that's kind of what brought me to this topic today was I just felt so I didn't feel weird. I guess I was in a funk. It was a very like situational funk, a circumstantial funk. Like I know it was because of me being out of my routine, me being back in I was going to say a new environment, but back in an old environment actually. And just like also winter uglies, just so many things combined that kind of got me into the little funk that I was in. I still enjoyed everything. It was great to see family. It was great to see friends. I'm so glad that I was there for a long period of time to be able to spend that time with them that I don't normally get. But it wasn't easy. I don't know. I wasn't thinking that it was going to be like a challenging 2 weeks. I'm just going to say 2 weeks. I wasn't thinking that it was going to be like hard for me at all. I wasn't thinking anything. I was like, oh, rest, relaxation, break. But it's just too long for like a break, if that makes sense, especially with me doing like the podcast and stuff. I very well could have. I actually did bring my mic and my camera. I brought everything to film, but I wasn't here. I kind of wanted to keep the consistency of like this being the background. I'm also like in my childhood room. There was like wasn't a good real space to film. My family would have been downstairs. And then I also got busy-ish. Like some of it I created myself, like, shopping. But also I have to, okay, I'm not even going to spare you the details. Okay. Long story short, I'm doing Christmas at my childhood home. So all my gifts are going to be there and I'm flying from Chicago to Cincinnati. So I can't bring all my gifts. So I had to get all my gifts, which I wasn't even thinking about that. But I ordered a lot of stuff that would be here when I arrived and it was, but now I wrapped it up and I like don't know how I'm going to get it to Cincinnati, except I'll squeeze it in. I'll check a bag, yada, yada. But it was nice to Christmas shop while I was there. Anyways, why am I even talking about this? Oh, like I could have filmed an episode, but I just got busy, some by choice, some not by choice. Also just wanted to like spend quality time with friends. Like I didn't want to be like working on a break, but like an 11-day break is kind of insane. Like, you normally wouldn't take like 2 weeks off of work just to like catch up with friends and stuff. So it was just a little too long. I wasn't as productive as I wanted to be slash I wasn't able to enjoy the rest that maybe God was trying to give me. I don't know. It was a mixture of a lot and I'm kind of just going to talk about it today. I know it's been like a few days since it's passed, so I probably should have processed this sooner, but it was a rough time. It was a good time. Good, bad, ugly, everything in between. And this is what I want to talk about, basically. So you're going to help me process through it. If you're going through something similar, hopefully I can help you. But I'm just going to kind of talk about what it's like to be a new person in an old place and how we navigate that and how I wouldn't say I know how to do it, so I can't teach you like from my example, but maybe what not to do. And then also things I wish I would have done differently or things that I feel like I'm able to do well, but I just kind of want to talk about the concept. For me specifically, it's returning to a home and a place where I grew up being one person. I feel like I'm someone else now, and I've become that someone else in all these places other than my hometown and my home specifically. Found Jesus in college, which was in Kentucky, and then had so many beautiful, painful moments in my college house in Kentucky, and like gave my life to Jesus there, walked out my like first couple months with Jesus there, started reading my Bible there, like had so like found Jesus, discovered Jesus, fell in love with Jesus in Kentucky in my college home. And then now moving out and being in Chicago, I had this whole routine. This is where I really like have lived out my relationship with the Lord. I've met so many people. Like I feel confident in my walk. I feel confident in my life that I've made for myself or that God has made for me. And so I've just never been a Christ follower at home in Cincinnati with those people that some of my friends are listening and they're like, what in the world do you mean? But I just struggle sometimes reverting back to old behaviors, or not even old behaviors, but just an old mindset of like, I don't know, just a feeling of familiarity that maybe I don't love. And I was just struggling to be different when I didn't feel different, if that makes sense. When I felt like how I felt in high school, yet I'm still trying to live this new life for Jesus, I was struggling. So I kind of want to talk about that and I don't know, just process and then maybe give tips along the way. Hopefully the Lord speaks to me through this and I'm able to share that with you guys. But I've been all over the place. I probably will be all over the place. Give me grace. This is my first time back in like 3 weeks recording an episode. So I just need to get back into the swing of things. Okay. One sip for good luck and then I'll go into story time. Yum. Okay, so I'll start by giving my personal example of kind of how I was feeling and then what I'm talking about or trying to talk about. I don't even know. This is just going to be a yap sesh. Hopefully somewhat educational or entertaining or something. Hopefully you can get something from this. Okay, so for me, the first thing that I wrote down was just trying to be someone new when you aren't somewhere new. So it's different for me. I'm sure a lot of people struggle with this because I did get to go somewhere completely new. So when God transformed me into this new person that I now am and gave me this new mind, I've got new behaviors, new attitudes, new speech, a lot of newness about me, which, that's supposed to happen. We are a new creation in Christ Jesus. And then he also gave me a new environment, though, partially. It still happened in college. It happened halfway through college. So it was like underclassmen me and then upperclassmen me was like finally the goodish version of me. So I did like move out into like a new home, but also I knew when I was really like feeling tight with Jesus, I knew that I was going to be making a move here. Like I knew I was moving out here for work. So that came with like a hope, and I kind of like held on to that even though my situation wasn't very new. Like in college when I found Jesus, like actually I didn't even find him halfway through. It was halfway through my junior year. So I really only had like half of a semester, but I was still healing with my ACL. So like that doesn't mean I can't be a Christian and recover. But like, I don't know, that semester kind of like flew by ish. And then I had like my senior year basically was living for Christ. But then half of your senior year, you're so forward thinking to what's next. So college was not a blur by any means, but I don't know. There's a lot of anticipation for the future. And also I had an amazing friend group. I had an amazing like ministry to be a part of, amazing church community. Like it was amazing. I was so fulfilled. So it was new in a way because I was like in the same place. Like I didn't transfer schools. I was at the same school, but I was just having such a completely different experience because I wasn't going out to the bars anymore. I just wasn't like, my weekends were very different. My weeks were different. My friends were different. So it still felt like a brand new environment. So if you aren't actually moving, if God has not removed you from your environment, even though he's made you a new person inside, there's still so much hope for you still getting that new life in Christ, even if your circumstances are the same or your location is still the same. I think there's so much renewal that the Lord can do, not only with you, but with your friend group, with your habits, with the people around you, because your life will testify for you. And when they see a genuine change and like a genuine love in you that wasn't in there before, they're going to be interested and they're going to be curious, like, how did she get this? And you're obviously going to be pointing them to Jesus. So then I'm sure they're going to get a little interested and maybe have a little curiosity towards the Lord. So not even different people, like he'll just wipe out your circle and give you new friends, but he'll start changing the people around you. That happened with me. That was so amazing. Like, I think it's so cool when we have friends from like our BC life, our before Christ life, who you kind of like, you don't separate from, you don't cut them off, but you just kind of like, one of you comes to Christ, you just kind of like lose touch a little bit because you're like, well, we're not doing the same things anymore. We aren't as compatible as before. And then the Lord brings you guys back like in Christ together, like sisters in Christ. So amazing. I have like whatever. It doesn't matter. I have friends like that. It's amazing. But for me, the way that I was feeling over Thanksgiving that I like just can't really avoid, that I did want to talk about on here, was even though I am a new person, new creation, I was going back into my old home, and it more had to do with like my house than like the city in general. And I loved seeing my friends and I love hanging out with them. And like, I didn't struggle with that at all. But I was just struggling, like, literally being home. And then being there for so long, I just didn't know what to do. And I think this is obviously spiritual, but then also just growing up in my home. My mom did a lot for us. People like to clown me. My mom did a lot for us growing up. Not in a like sheltered way. Like I wouldn't say I was sheltered, more spoiled. So yeah, I was spoiled. And so my mom packed our lunch all the way up until high school, like all the way up until college. My mom would pack our lunch every day. I had never done laundry until college. Like I just really didn't have to do a lot for myself because my mom did everything for us. I never had chores growing up. And my mom is the GOAT. She's the GOAT. Not just because I didn't have chores and everything, but she's just like, she's so awesome. Like, I'm very blessed. Like, my mom is a stay-at-home mom. So I was raised by my mom and my mom had time to do these things. Like, obviously she sacrificed so much. I'm not saying like, well, I mean, she's not doing anything. Might as well do the dishes. Might as well do my laundry. No, like she gave her life to being a mom and she's done it amazing. And she's like almost done doing it, which is, well, okay, she'll always be my mom. Whatever. Empty nester. Almost. We hope she's an empty nester soon. But anyway, there were so many skills that I just didn't learn until college because the responsibility was not on me to do it growing up. I never had to cook dinner for myself. I like barely knew how to cook because my dad made dinner for us every single night and we'd all eat it around the table, family dinner. Mom did laundry, never used a vacuum. Oh, this is pathetic. I don't really care. It was amazing. But I was so like, not irresponsible, but I had no responsibilities at home growing up. My parents did everything for us. So I just kind of grew up being a little bit of like a bum at home. Like I wasn't lazy and I didn't like lack ambition and I wasn't a brat because I had ambition in other things. But when it came to being home, it was like brain off. I'm not doing anything. I would just like scroll on my phone or talk to my friends. Like when I was home, when school had ended, when practice was over and I was sitting at home, like I just did nothing because it was finally my like rest and relaxation time. So then coming back there and like having my own space where I'm doing all these things, I'm doing the laundry, I'm doing the dishes, I'm cleaning, I'm responsible for this space and this home of mine, apartment, unit, penthouse. It's just weird because I noticed myself falling back into like leaving my dishes out. And then my parents just like, oh, the magic fairy just cleaning it up. Like just things like that where like I didn't even realize it, but I would eat my breakfast and then leave my dishes out. And then I'd come back at lunch and it's obviously cleaned up. And I'm like, shoot, I didn't do that. Whereas a kid, I was a spoiled little brat. And I'm like, oh, the fairy did it. Like I wouldn't even think like everything would just be done. Some people are probably like cringing, like listening to this. I'm so sorry. It's just how I grew up. But I just felt myself like reverting back to that. And I did not like that at all. And I would just kind of like sit on my phone, not really doing much. I think like in the pockets of the in-between, like I had something every day to do. And, you visit family, you have Thanksgiving. Isaiah came and visited. And then I had like little scheduled hangouts with my friends. But in between that, I just like didn't love the routine that I was on because I know I had time and I felt like I was being lazy with it. And now being like self-employed, I'm responsible for my schedule. And like, if I want to put in the work, then the work will get done. If I slack off, then like, yeah, you're not making money. You're not doing anything. So it was just weird because I feel like I put these restrictions on me that weren't there. I was like, well, I can't film because I only have like an hour of my day and my parents are downstairs and I don't like the background. I just kind of like, I got into like a very excusey mindset because I was like, I can't do this like I feel responsible, I feel confident, I feel like able now, but going back home I've never been that. So I just had a hard time applying that over, even though things are so much different. Like I am a way different person now. My work ethic is different. Like I'm just living such a different life, but I didn't know how to bring that home because I was just literally home. And I know it doesn't make sense because what does that have to do with that? Like it's just a building. I could have still done all of it. I know that's kind of why I'm saying it is a struggle, like trying to be a new person in a familiar space when you've never been that person before. Like when you're trying to bring new habits and new attitudes and a new mindset somewhere where you've never had any of those, it's challenging. It's so challenging because no one is going to expect that from you. No one's pushing you to be the new version that you are in an old place because they don't know you like that. You don't know yourself like that there. So it's just all up to you. And so it can kind of create like a little bit of analysis paralysis or a little bit of just like, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm just going to choose nothing. I think that's what I did. And then with that choice of nothing, then 10 days go by, or honestly, even after like 6 days, I was like, like, what do I do? I'm so unproductive. I'm not doing anything with my life. Like, it was just kind of like a recipe for disaster a little bit. So I did recognize it though. And I knew that I was only feeling this way because of the environment that I was in. And I was like open with my mom and kind of just like crying. I'm a crier. I don't know. I'm very much a crier, especially these past 3 months. It's just been an emotional time. But I was just kind of crying to my mom. I'm like, I don't think I like being here. I don't know. I struggle. Like, I love my family. I love my parents. I love my friends. I love even the city. But I was just struggling so bad being there because I just don't like, I think it's not that I don't like home. I just don't like who I am at home. But it's frustrating because it's my choice to revert back to those old behaviors, you know? It's not like being in those four walls of my home is making me act like this, or once I step foot in the CVG airport, now I'm just back into who I was in 2016. Like, no, I'm doing this to myself, but it's still a very real struggle. I just don't like who I am there. And I think I'm still struggling between one, I need to not think that a building or a city or a place holds so much power over me, because no building, like no home, is making me act a certain way. Like, just because I was incompetent when I grew up, now that I know all these skills and I'm a different person now, doesn't mean when I go back I have to just be incompetent again. Like, my house isn't making me do that. So first part, it is a choice. But then in the second time, it's like my parents are actively moving. Like, they're building a house in Florida right now. And all I kept thinking was, things will be so different in Florida. Things will be so different. I can't wait. I'll be in like a fresh start, no bad memories. Like, it's not, I don't know. Like, I didn't have this like horrible time, but I don't know. I just don't think I liked who I was growing up. And I didn't know it until now, looking back, that I didn't really like myself. But I think I struggled with a lot of like self-esteem issues and just like, I wouldn't say like self-hatred, but I think I felt funky a lot when I was alone. I think like, and I still, to be honest, I still struggle giving my testimony, sharing my testimony, because I don't know. I just struggle with like the past in general and kind of like remembering everything. Also, sometimes I'm like, why even bother going back to that place? Like, I'm in the present. I don't know. But I think one of the biggest things is, I know for sure, I know that I hated being alone growing up because I just didn't know who I was. I felt like I changed around every single person that I was around. I just took on their personality. Like, I was a leech, like, or a chameleon. I don't know. Either one. We'll say both. Where it's just like, I was a little bit of a mirror of whoever I was. So I think I craved people's approval so much. I'm like, surely they like themselves. If I act like them, they'll like me. And of course I had my like set personality, and like there were friends where I felt more myself around and I felt accepted and able to just like be me, and I knew they'd love me anyways. But I think just overall, I struggled with being around friends so much, not because I was like putting up a front, but then when I was alone, I was like, I don't even know who I am. I don't like myself. I don't want to be alone with my thoughts. So it was just like constant distract mode. I was obsessed with Vine when I was younger. Now I'm obsessed with TikTok. Great. But I was always just like distraction mode. Distraction, Vine, YouTube. Like, I'd watch YouTube in the shower, Netflix in the shower. Like, I could not be alone with my thoughts. Like, and the second I got sad, I'm like, boom, it's bedtime. Or I'd like constantly be talking to friends, like texting them, FaceTiming them. Like, I was always doing something. And so I never really sat with that feeling or like knew that I had it, because I was always just kind of like running to the next thing, chasing the next thing. And then now growing up, I'm able to realize that I was like running from feelings or thoughts. And then being home and being more in tune with my thoughts and my emotions, some of those feelings are coming up, even though I'm way different. Everything is way different. My life is so different. And I'm getting those thoughts like come up, and they're not even like current thoughts. But it's just like, the familiar feelings and the patterns. I don't know. I think it was the Lord like probably trying to heal those things in me in some ways that I saw myself or just some fears that I had. I think he's trying to show me like I can go back as a new person and conquer that and not have it like have a hold on me. But I just didn't do that. I think now I realize it in hindsight, which I'm still going back for Christmas. So maybe I can conquer then. But I just got so many familiar feelings that I think the Lord reminded me of and brought up that I wasn't feeling now, but I was just reminded of being in that old environment. I feel like I'm so redundant, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. But I didn't deal with those emotions well. I didn't really surrender them to God. I didn't really bring them to the Lord to have him heal. I just kind of like freaked out a little bit, like internally. Like I was not an anxious kid, but I think it brought back some anxiety because I'm like, wait, what do I do with this? Now I remember that I used to feel like this all the time. And then I just kind of blamed the building. I'm like, oh, this is why I can't be home. This is why I can't go back here. This is why I can't sit on this couch. This is why I can't be up in this bed. And that's just not true. I think when those feelings arise, the Lord oftentimes is trying to redeem a part of you that maybe if I feel like there was some part of my past or my childhood or my teenagehood that was like taken from me, from the devil, from myself, from whoever it may be, the Lord's going to try to give you that back when you have the time and the ability. Like I can go back to my old home. Some people, they've moved out and they can't go back to that old home and heal those parts of them. So it is spiritual, but then it's also physical. I think like the Lord obviously uses both. Like we live in a physical body, we live in a physical world. So I think it is really cool how I can see the Lord using my physical house and my physical bed and some couches and my basement and in my living room. He's using those like markers in my life to bring back feelings to help show me that he can conquer them and that he's above it and that I can heal and move past. But I just didn't let him do that, which is so frustrating. But I'm glad that he's kind of like teaching me it now. Because then on the flip side, some people don't have that ability. Some people are in a new home. Like let's say my parents are already in Florida and I didn't get to go back to my old home. Then maybe he's healing that by bringing me a new space, fresh memories, a fresh start, like a new start with my husband. Like I get to raise my kids in this home, like so beautiful. He redeems it in two ways, I think, by either bringing you back to that place and showing you you can be different. I can make things new. I am the ultimate redeemer, renewer. But then also, maybe that's not necessary, or maybe it will do more harm than good, and the Lord knows you best. Maybe he will bring you to a new environment and say, see, I can redeem this. I can give you something new. This was not good for you. This brought you trauma. This brought you yada, yada, yada. Bad emotions, bad memories. He'll give you something new. So I think for my case, he brought me back to an old environment to try to like show me that I can be someone new there. And I didn't grasp that while I was there. I think I'm understanding it after. But then also, I see what he's doing in my life by giving me a new environment because that isn't my home. I was just visiting for a few days, a few long days. But he's also given me a new place completely. He's given me a new home. He's given me a new city. Like I'm starting a life here and I've made friends here. And so he's shown me in both ways that like the Lord is outside of time. The Lord is outside of space. He is outside of matter. These things are like nothing to him. But I get so caught up in them, as most of us do. But then also it's a very real thing. Like being in an old place where something happened is going to bring up memories. So it's valid. But just know that he's above that so that you can be above that through conquering through Christ. I think another cool thing that the Lord does. Oh, wait, I think I have it written down. Okay. I hope this ties in. When I was praying about this like phrase kind of came up. So maybe I can tie it in. Okay. What I have written down is that sometimes God won't change your circumstances because he wants to change you. So this is kind of opposite. Like I'm talking about being a new person in an old space. Wait, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm so silly. Of course, the Lord wanted me to talk about this. Okay. Yeah, duh. This is like the epitome of being a new person in an old space. So sometimes God won't change your circumstances because he wants to change you. Maybe instead of like reinforcing this false narrative in your head that to be a new person, you need all things new. You need a new home. You need a new city. You need new friends. You need a new family. Whatever you may be thinking that you externally need for you to be made new. If that's your thought process, I think a lot of times God won't change your circumstances because he doesn't want you to believe that for you to change, other things outside of you have to change. Because the Lord is in you. The Holy Spirit is in you. Your body is the temple in which the Holy Spirit dwells. Like post Jesus, it's so cool because now the Lord lives in us. We have God in us. He chose to dwell in us. How crazy. So you don't need anything outside of you to do the work in you. If the Lord is in you, he can work in you and through you. And it starts with like an inner work where the Lord starts changing your heart. He starts changing your desires. He changes how you think of things. And with that, your perception of the world changes without even the world around you changing. It just happens naturally. So if you're kind of stuck in putting yourself in a box, thinking that I can't be this new person until things around me change, until I'm in a new city or I'm with new people or with a new person, then I don't think the Lord is going to grant you that. Obviously, I'm not him and I can't speak for him, but the whole basis of Jesus coming is that he came to dwell inside of you and to change you and make all things new in you and to change you. And a lot of times keep you where you are so you can be a light for others around you, to keep you in an old place as a new person so that those old people see you. Because sometimes that's like the greatest testimonies when people firsthand experience your transformation of Jesus. If he were to pull you out right when things are getting good and right when you're like starting to live for him, and all those people see is like the sinful you, the before Christ you, then that's a huge missed opportunity to testify to those people and show of the Lord's goodness. Like God is going to do what glorifies him best and what brings most people to him. So sometimes he won't change your circumstances because one, he's teaching you something that things around you don't have to change for you to change. He can already work in you. If he's in you, all he needs is your yes and your willingness for him to make all things new work inside of you. And then two, it's for the people around you because he wants to work in the people's lives around you and he wants to show them something and he wants the glory to be pointed up to him. So if it benefits you and the people around you, he's going to do that versus feeding into maybe a false narrative that you think that you have to be somewhere else for you to be someone else. It's just not true because the Lord, he knows no boundaries. Like there's no limitations on him. He breaks through all sort of norms, stereotypes, fake limitations we may think we have on him. He can do anything at all times. He can do things in the snap of a finger so suddenly. So he's going to do what best serves you and his people and bring some glory. And if that is keeping you in an old place, but with a renewed mind and a renewed lifestyle, then he's going to do that. But the cool thing is that even though your circumstances haven't changed, or maybe your location hasn't changed, or the people around you haven't changed, your life will change. If Jesus works in you and transforms you, your life will change. So although you're in a same familiar place, it's going to be so different. Everything is going to be so different. The way that you talk to people and interact with people is going to be so different. You're going to have more of like a light around you and a joy in you and a peace around you that maybe things that these people said to you would really get under your skin. Now you can just brush it off because you have that security and that comfort from Jesus that like, I don't need their validation. Whoop. And then also, you'll start seeing others the way that God sees them when you really know God. So maybe instead of getting mad at your mom, you start to see her as the child of God that she is, that the daughter of Christ that she is. And you start realizing that we're all just made in the image of God. Maybe exactly where you are is where you need to be and where the Lord wants to work through you. But just the way you were living your life wasn't working. It's not that the system is broken. It's not that the city is broken, that you need to be around a whole new place for God to work in you. But when you're living your life in sin, life it's not going to work well. It's not going to feel good. It's not going to look good. It's going to be a little damaged and broken. So when he redeems that and turns your life around and you start living for Christ, even in that same space, everything will be better. Life will start to be easier. Your relationships will flow easier. You will be a more pleasant person. So he doesn't have to change your circumstances. He just needs to change you, and he needs your willingness and your yes on the table to do so. I kind of touched on this earlier, but I have written in here after that is that sometimes we just give too much credit to a building. And I think this is what I was doing with my home. After all, like, it is just a home. It's just a house. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't have any power over me. It definitely doesn't have any power over Jesus. So I get in my head and psych myself out a bit sometimes, where I think this is definitely what was going on. I was just giving my house too much credit. Just because I'm back home doesn't mean I'm just going to feel the way that I did growing up. It doesn't mean that I have to fall back into that person. It's not making me do any of that. And I think the Lord was being extra gracious by using that to allow those feelings to come and those habits to come back, so then he can show me, bring it to the forefront of my mind, this is why you're acting like this, because you used to act like this when you were here, and then show me you can be different, and then allow me to be different. So I'm going back for Christmas and I'm going to film a podcast episode. I promise that I'm going to film a podcast episode when I'm there. Oh goodness. I actually don't really have time. Okay, I'm going to do it. I already said it. I guess. Don't hold me to that. I'm going to try. Anyways, I think the Lord will let those feelings come up. He let them come up with me, and then he's going to let me do it and be different. So then it just kind of, it shows me and proves to me that a building has no power over me. A city has no power over me. No person has no power over me. Only Jesus is the authority figure in my life, and he is powerful and king over everything. So if he's on my side and like trying to heal something in me or trying to prove a point for me and to me, then I've got to let him. And then it just shows me like, wow, this is like the victory. This is like the conquer that Christ is talking about. Like when we walk in victory, when we like conquer through Christ, like we can literally do all things through Christ. Like my past doesn't have a hold on me. Memories don't have a hold on me. A familiar building, a familiar place, a familiar city. It's got no hold over me if Jesus says so. So that's kind of what I'm going to try to do over Christmas break, I guess. Little challenge accepted. And then lastly, I have written down that a lot of feelings are just messengers. This is kind of like a whole nother topic. And this, I am speaking to myself so badly here. A lot of times feelings are just messengers and they don't need to be acted on all the time. I think some of the feelings that I was having come up while being at home of like feeling stuck-ish, like, oh, whoa, okay, this is kind of cool because now the Lord is kind of switching it and being like, you've only filmed your podcast here, so you feel like you can't do it there. So it wasn't even that I was trying to be someone new and somewhere old, but I was trying, whoa, this is crazy. I'm kind of having the reverse realization where I am only productive here, so I can't be productive there. Not even in the other way where I was thinking, well, I've only been unproductive here, so I can't be productive here. So I hope this is making sense. But I was feeling like I was being like sucked down by the house, but maybe I feel like empowered here. Sorry, these sound like some crazy dramatic adjectives, whatever. But I feel empowered here, and then I'm thinking that maybe I'm giving too much credit on the other way to like this home and this city and this thing's here when God is trying to tell me, no, you don't have to be here for you to be able to speak or do these things or share. Like, because again, externally, this is so cool. This is real time. See, this is what I was hoping would come from this podcast is like Jesus speaking real time and we catch it and we learn something new. Okay. So just as much as you're giving, okay, me, let's just address. Just as much as I sometimes give too much credit to a building, as in reverting back to old behaviors, I can see now maybe I'm giving too much credit to this building and giving credit for like good behaviors or good habits. Like I can still go to the gym when I'm not at my home gym. I have the workout equipment at home. It was like kind of not as fun to work out at home, but I was just out of my routine. I was out of everything. I wasn't eating healthy. I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't like working. So no wonder I felt like crap. So I think on the flip side, even with good behaviors, just because I started good behaviors here and good habits here doesn't mean that the second I step away from my place where I built those habits and have been this person, that just all falls apart. Like it's in me. God has instilled that in me and he's changed me. This apartment, this building, this city is not making me do good or be good. It's just Jesus. It's Jesus working through me all the time. So I just can't give too much credit either way. And because guess what? The credit goes to God. Like, I think, yeah, when I get too caught up on those emotions and those feelings, I'm realizing that it's been God working through me this whole time. That when it's bad, it's me. And when it's good, it's God. So no matter where I am or who I'm around, that stays the same. Whoa, that was so cool. Kind of salty. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a mute button right here where if I press it, and if not, yeah, so I accidentally had the mute button covered the whole last thing. So I don't even remember what I said. I just talk and then I don't remember it. And it's an amazing trait of mine. So I can't obviously go back and listen to what I said, but I wrapped it up, said something good, I thought. But I think I was going back to what I like briefly brought up and then took it in a different direction about how feelings are just messengers and how they're just kind of meant to be brought up and then let go. But I think through what God just plopped into my head, I think he wants to take it a little bit of a different route, and how like feelings are the messengers is kind of the surface, and then underneath that, I think the ultimate takeaway he wants me to say is to give God glory and to give God credit for everything. So, for example, if my feelings are negative, if my feeling messengers bring up negative emotions, I need to submit that to God, surrender that to God, and ask him to heal, and ask him, like, if I'm feeling anxiety, I need to submit that to him and ask for his peace. And on the flip side, if I'm feeling really proud of myself, I need to submit that to God and allow him to humble me, and not like he needs to just trample me under his foot, but be like, just remember, you have these abilities because of me. You have gifts because of me. Anything you do well, any success you have is by my hand. So when we're feeling a little too good about ourselves, allow God to humble you in your rightful position under him. And then when you're feeling not good enough, allow him to lift you up as the worthy daughter or son of God that you are, and allow him to speak life and encourage you. I guess with like how I was feeling over Thanksgiving, like these feelings were messengers that I just did too much with. And I just needed to involve God more and to give him the credit and the glory for my life and what my life is, because then it kind of just takes the focus off of me and off of what I'm feeling, and it kind of replaces my feelings with his truth, which that's how I need to live my whole life. Like, his truth is steady. My feelings are so insanely wavy. So I need to replace my feelings with his truth. That doesn't mean I need to get rid of my feelings. That'll never happen. But when I have these feelings, just giving God the glory and the credit for everything, because everything is for God, by God, through God. Oh, wait, actually, okay. I was hoping God would like plop a little scripture into my brain, because I did want to incorporate the Bible somehow. But this is kind of just reminding me of Colossians 1. I think I'll just end with that. Yeah. I love Colossians 1, especially like when it talks about Christ is supreme. So okay. Yes, that is what I'll read. I'm going to read Colossians 1, starting in chapter 15. And it's just about like Christ's supremacy and how he is above all, in all, through all. He is just like, he's Jesus. Like, he's that man. Okay, Colossians 1, starting in verse 15. I'm going to read 15 to 20. Christ is the visible image of the invisible God. He existed before anything was created and is supreme over all creation. For through him, God created everything in the heavenly realms and on earth. He made the things we can see and the things we can't see, such as thrones, kingdoms, rulers, and authorities in the unseen world. Everything was created through him and for him. He existed before anything else, and he holds all creation together. Christ is also the head of the church, which is his body. He is the beginning, supreme over all who rise from the dead. So he is first in everything. For God in all his fullness was pleased to live in Christ, and through him God reconciled everything to himself. He made peace with everything in heaven and on earth by means of Christ's blood on the cross. So I love that. And then it goes later on to just talk about like, okay, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to make you read it, actually. But I hope that just like reminds you, I love reading Colossians 1 because it just puts everything into perspective, that, as it says in verse 16, everything was created through him and for him. That really shapes the way that I see the world and what I think about a lot of things. And sometimes I just get a little too caught up in my emotions and my feelings and my little feelings messengers, and I forget that everything is just for Jesus and through Jesus. So if I'm feeling bad, he wants me to surrender it to him, and he wants to fill me with good feelings. And if I'm feeling good, I need to give him credit because he gives me those good feelings. Like, thank God for everything. Like, give God glory, give God credit for everything. I don't know. It's just like, it's really good to remain humble. Like, giving God the glory and giving God rightful credit for everything just instills like a humility in us. And we need to stay humble because it gives the pressure off of us. Like, I don't have to work to create this life, that God has a way that he wants my life to turn out, and it's going to turn out how he wants it because of his doing and not mine. And I think just how I was feeling over my little 2-week break in Thanksgiving just shows me that I was forgetting that Christ is in all, through all, working for me and for his glory. So whether I'm feeling good or bad, give it up to him and allow him to kind of like work out, teach me something new. Like, he's always trying to teach me something in everything that he's doing. And I think I wasn't letting him, because I wasn't seeing this. I was forgetting that, you know, life is for Jesus and through Jesus. I was thinking life was for me, through me, by me, for me. I was thinking very me, very selfish, very me-centric. And when I just flip kind of my perception of the world and realizing that everything is for Christ, through Christ, yet everything he does is to benefit me. You know, he's trying to work things out for my good. He's always trying to teach me something. He's always trying to grow me closer to him and make me more like him. But it's all revolving around him, and I'm just like the detail. Obviously, I'm the center of my life because it's my life. But these feelings were coming up because God was trying to teach me something. I wasn't letting him. And then when I have good feelings, I need to surrender to him and thank him for when things are going well. So it's just not that big of a deal. And I'm a little bit of a diva, drama queen, dramatic. Wouldn't have it any other way, though. Okay. I'm really glad I got to do this again. Like, I definitely felt a little out of the flow of things. I felt anti-flow state. Yeah, it was a little rusty, but it's just good to talk. I'm glad I get to share with you guys. I'm praying over you, whoever you are that was watching this. I always pray over you. I pray over your ears. I pray over your mind, that God just speaks through you and you hear exactly what he needs to tell you. And I just hope he's able to use me. I pray that he uses me. I pray that he blesses you, that good things are coming because God wants good things for you. Yeah, I don't know. It was just this. Yeah, this was good. This was good. It was a little chatty. It was a little all over the place. It was a little scattered, but you know, that's me. That is me. All right. I will see you guys hopefully next week. Let's hope I have some sort of consistency. Who knows? Okay. Love you. Bye.